Welcome to the deep dive. You guys sent in a ton of stuff on AI this week,
Yeah.
especially on the big companies like Microsoft and OpenAI, Google and Amazon.
Right.
It seems like you're really interested in not just the tech itself, but all the partnerships and rivalries, kind of like a Silicon Valley drama.
Yeah, absolutely. The AI world is so dynamic right now.
It is.
It's not just about the algorithms. It's about who's working with who,
Right.
who's competing against who, and, even like philosophical clashes about where AI should go.
Totally. So where do we even start? I mean, should we jump right into OpenAI and their connection with Microsoft?
Yeah, that's a great place to start.
Okay.
OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has such a fascinating origin story.
Yeah.
They started in 2015 with this very idealistic goal to make sure that artificial general intelligence, or AGI, benefits all of humanity.
That's ambitious.
It is very ambitious.
Yeah. How do you even begin to tackle something like that?
Well, one of their first smart moves was partnering with Nvidia,
Yep.
the company that makes those powerful GPUs, the graphics processing units that are essential for training these massive AI models.
Right.
They needed serious computing power,
Oh, for sure.
and Nvidia provided that.
So that's where Microsoft enters the picture?
Exactly. Microsoft saw the potential of AI early on
Uh-huh.
and made a huge bet on OpenAI back in 2019,
Oh,
investing $1 billion,
wow.
which made Microsoft's cloud platform Azure OpenAI's primary provider.
Okay.
And that gave them a major foothold in this whole growing field.
Okay, but then things got even more interesting, right? Because OpenAI shifted its structure.
Yes.
And that really changed the dynamic with Microsoft.
Yeah, a year later, OpenAI moved away from being a nonprofit to this capped profit model.
Right.
So essentially, this opened the door for Microsoft to invest even more.
Oh, wow.
And they did. By 2024, Microsoft had poured a total of about $13 billion into OpenAI.
It's a lot of money.
It's a serious commitment.
It is, but wouldn't that create some tension?
Oh, totally.
Because, Microsoft is funding OpenAI's growth, but then OpenAI is turning around and releasing things like ChatGPT and DALL-E.
Right.
Which compete directly with some of Microsoft's own products.
Exactly. It's a fascinating dynamic.
Yeah.
On one hand, Microsoft is kind of helping build a potential rival.
Right.
But on the other hand, by investing in OpenAI, they're staying at the forefront of this AI development and potentially shaping the whole field.
It's like they're trying to control the game, even if they don't win every hand.
It's a great analogy. And while this was all unfolding,
Yeah.
other big players were making their own moves.
Right.
Amazon, leveraging the power of their cloud service.
Right.
AWS
Right.
jumped into the arena, launching their own set of generative AI models called the Nova series,
Okay.
which was a direct challenge to OpenAI's dominance.
So now we have Microsoft and Amazon going head to head.
Right. But there's another player in this game that's taking a bit of a different approach.
Okay.
Anthropic, founded by former OpenAI researchers, is focused on developing what they call safe and beneficial AI.
Okay.
They're behind the Claude models, which are designed with ethical considerations
Right.
as a top priority.
Okay, so they're trying to build AI that's not just powerful but responsible.
Right.
But how do they stack up against these giants like Microsoft and Amazon?
Well, one article you sent highlighted how Claude can now interact with computer interfaces,
Really?
almost like a human user.
Wow.
It can understand and respond to commands,
Interesting.
navigate different applications, even troubleshoot problems.
So it's like a virtual assistant, but much more advanced?
Yeah.
So they're not just talking about ethical AI, they're actually delivering on it.
It seems so.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
them a company to watch.
For sure.
It seems like they're betting that in the long run, people will prefer AI that's not just intelligent, but aligned with human values.
It's definitely a gamble,
Yeah.
but it could pay off big time if they can position themselves as the leaders in this ethical AI development.
Absolutely. But what about some of the newer companies? We've talked about the big players,
The big guys.
but there are a lot of smaller companies trying to make their mark in AI as well.
Absolutely. Take Perplexity AI, for example.
Okay.
They've been making a lot of noise with their generative AI search engine.
I've heard of them.
Instead of just giving you a list of links, their engine actually answers your questions in a conversational way.
I think I've played around with that. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And they're gaining a lot of traction,
Yeah.
especially with their focus on making information accessible and engaging.
Right. And they're not just relying on their technology alone.
No, they've been strategically forming partnerships to improve the quality of their product and expand their reach.
What kind of partnerships are we talking about?
Well, they've teamed up with major data providers like FactSet and Crunchbase to enhance their Enterprise Pro service.
Okay.
So that gives them access to high-quality financial and company data which is a huge advantage in the business world.
So they're going after the enterprise market.
Yes. And they've also expanded their publisher program to include major media outlets like Time and Der Spiegel.
Interesting.
This means that Perplexity's search engine can now pull content directly from these reputable sources,
Okay.
boosting the quality and credibility of their answers.
That's really smart. They're not just building a cool technology, they're thinking about how to get it in front of as many people as possible.
Right.
And making sure that the information is reliable.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in a fast-paced field like AI strategic partnerships
Yeah.
and access to high-quality data are crucial for success.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
But we can't forget about the giants in the room.
Right.
Meta and Google,
Yeah.
they've been investing heavily in AI for years.
For years.
Where do they fit into all of this?
Well, Meta, with its focus on the metaverse, is developing its own AI models like Llama to power those immersive experiences.
Right.
So they're competing directly with OpenAI while also collaborating with academics on research projects.
So it's like a mix of competition and collaboration.
A fascinating mix.
And Google.
Google has been deeply involved in AI for a long time,
Yeah.
especially through their work with DeepMind.
Mhm.
Products like Bard
Mm-hmm.
show that they're serious about staying ahead in this race.
For sure.
It's a battle of titans,
It is.
and the competition is only getting fiercer.
So we've got these complex relationships between the established players like Microsoft and OpenAI,
Right.
new contenders like Amazon and Anthropic trying to shake things up,
Yeah.
and then these smaller companies like Perplexity AI finding creative ways to carve out their own niche.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. But amidst all this rivalry,
Yeah.
there have been some interesting developments on the partnership front,
Oh, really?
even between companies that are typically seen as competitors.
Like who?
Well, in late 2024, reports surfaced that Microsoft and OpenAI were renegotiating the terms of their partnership.
Huh. Interesting.
Apparently, OpenAI had been facing some financial pressures,
Okay.
and Microsoft wanted to reassess their stake and potential governance rights.
That makes sense. After all, they've poured billions into OpenAI.
Billions.
It's only natural they'd want to protect their investment.
Right.
But didn't OpenAI change their structure again?
They did.
Something about becoming a benefit corporation?
You're right. OpenAI restructured into a benefit corporation, which basically means they're legally obligated to consider the impact of their decisions on society as a whole,
I see.
not just on their profits.
Okay.
So this restructuring likely triggered some of Microsoft's concerns about governance and control.
So how did that play out? Did they renegotiate their agreement?
It's still an ongoing process,
Okay.
but it really highlights how even the strongest partnerships in the AI world
Right.
can be affected by these financial pressures and philosophical differences.
It's a delicate balancing act.
It is.
They need each other to succeed, but they also have their own interests to protect.
Exactly. And just when you thought things couldn't get more complicated,
Oh.
OpenAI made a surprising move.
What did they do?
They secured a deal to buy a massive amount of cloud infrastructure,
Wow.
up to $10 billion worth from Oracle.
Oracle. That's unexpected. Why would they do that?
That's the interesting part.
Yeah.
This move allows OpenAI to diversify their resources and reduce their reliance on Microsoft Azure,
Okay.
even while continuing to benefit from their technological partnership.
So they're playing the field a bit?
You could say that it shows that OpenAI is not putting all their eggs in one basket,
Right.
even with their strong ties to Microsoft.
Okay.
They're playing the long game
Right.
and making sure they have the resources and flexibility to pursue their own vision.
It sounds like they're trying to establish themselves as an independent power player in the AI landscape,
Yeah.
not just an extension of Microsoft.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
They're clearly aiming for a future where they can set their own course,
Yeah.
even as they maintain strategic partnerships with these tech giants like Microsoft.
Okay, so we've covered OpenAI's journey from nonprofit to capped profit,
It's been a journey.
their complex dance with Microsoft, the rise of competitors like Amazon,
Right.
the emergence of ethical AI developers like Anthropic,
Mm-hmm.
and the strategic moves of smaller players like Perplexity AI.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to digest.
It is.
But where does this leave us? What's the big picture here?
The big picture is that the AI landscape is incredibly dynamic.
It is.
It's this constantly shifting ecosystem of partnerships,
Yeah.
rivalries,
Yeah.
and a race to not only innovate, but to secure a dominant position in this rapidly evolving field.
So what can we expect to see in the future? Will these collaborations and competitions continue to intensify?
That's a question we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll look at the future plans of these key players,
Right.
the potential for cross-industry collaborations,
Yeah.
and what it all means for the future of AI and its impact on our lives.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. It's fascinating to see how these companies are all jockeying for position. It's
Yeah.
like they're trying to predict the future and make sure they come out on top.
It definitely feels like the stakes are incredibly high, but with all this focus on competition,
Yeah,
I'm wondering about the potential for collaboration.
right.
Is there any sign of these companies working together maybe to address some of the bigger challenges that AI presents?
That's a really important question, and
Yeah.
it's one that's being discussed more and more. Some experts believe that we need these cross-industry collaborations
Okay.
to effectively tackle the ethical implications of AI development.
Right.
So we're talking about tech giants partnering with universities,
Yeah.
research institutions, even governments.
That makes sense. AI is going to impact everyone.
Right.
So it seems like we need a collective effort to ensure it's developed responsibly.
Precisely. And that includes not just avoiding potential harms, but also making sure that AI benefits society as a whole.
Right.
One area where we might see more collaboration is in setting standards for responsible AI use.
Okay.
So think of it like developing a set of guidelines or best practices that all these companies agree to follow.
That sounds like a step in the right direction, but with so much competition, is
Yeah.
that kind of cooperation even realistic?
Well,
Can we really expect companies like Microsoft and Google to set aside their rivalry and work together on something like AI ethics?
it's a valid question. After all, these are companies that are constantly trying to outmaneuver each other in the marketplace.
Right.
But there are signs that they recognize the need for some level of cooperation.
Okay.
When it comes to AI, for example, they're both members of the Partnership on AI, which is an organization that brings together various stakeholders
Okay.
to discuss and promote responsible AI development.
So they're at least willing to sit at the same table and talk about these issues.
Right.
But are there any concrete examples of them actually working together on AI projects?
There are a few. One example is the development of open source AI tools and frameworks.
Oh, interesting.
So these are essentially building blocks for AI that anyone can use and modify by collaborating on these tools. These companies are helping to accelerate AI development in a way that benefits the entire field, not just their own individual interests.
That's encouraging. It suggests that they understand that AI is too big and too important to be treated as just another competitive battleground.
Exactly. And this realization seems to be growing.
Yeah.
There's a sense that AI is a global issue
Right.
that demands global solutions, and that finding those solutions requires collaboration, even among competitors.
I like that another area where we might see more cooperation is in the fight against misinformation and fake news.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the articles you sent mentioned that
Yes.
talked about how AI could be used to help identify and flag false or misleading content.
Exactly. AI has the potential to be a powerful tool in that fight.
Right.
Imagine an AI system that could analyze news articles, social media posts, even videos in real time,
Wow.
and flag anything that seems suspicious or potentially false.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It could be a game changer in combating the spread of misinformation. But wouldn't that require a massive amount of data and computing power?
It would. And that's where collaboration becomes even more important.
Yeah.
If these companies were to pool their resources, their data, their expertise,
Right.
they could potentially create an AI system that's far more effective than anything they could build individually.
But wouldn't there be concerns about bias?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if a single company controls the AI that's filtering our news, couldn't that be used to promote their own agenda?
That's a valid concern, but that's precisely why collaboration is so crucial.
Okay.
By involving multiple companies, multiple perspectives,
Uh-huh.
you can help mitigate the risk of bias.
Right.
It's like having a system of checks and balances
Right.
to ensure that no single entity has too much control.
That makes a lot of sense. So it seems like there's potential for both competition and collaboration in the AI world.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, what does all this mean for the average person?
Right.
How is this AI revolution going to impact our lives?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the truth is, AI is already impacting our lives in countless ways, often without us even realizing it.
I know it's true.
From the recommendations we see on Netflix to the personalized ads that pop up on our social media feeds.
Right.
AI is already shaping our online experiences.
And I've heard that AI is being used in healthcare, finance, transportation,
Oh, yeah,
even in creative fields like music and art.
absolutely.
It seems like there's no aspect of our lives that won't be touched by AI in some way.
You're absolutely right. And with the rapid advancements in generative AI,
Right.
we're likely to see even more dramatic changes in the years to come.
I've read about those AI-powered writing tools
Yeah.
that can generate different kinds of creative content, from
Oh.
poems and scripts to even code.
It's amazing.
It is.
Those are just a glimpse of what's possible.
Yeah.
Imagine having an AI assistant that can handle all your mundane tasks,
Right.
freeing up your time to focus on the things you truly enjoy.
Or imagine having access to personalized education programs that adapt to your individual learning style and pace.
That would be great.
Or imagine being able to create stunning works of art or music, even if you have no prior artistic skills.
Right. It's incredible.
It sounds both exciting and a little intimidating.
It does.
Like, what happens to human creativity if AI can do all these things?
That's a profound question, and one that we'll need to grapple with as AI becomes more sophisticated.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Okay.
It's a tool that can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
And it's up to us to decide how we want to use it.
So it's not just about passively observing this AI revolution.
No.
It's about actively participating in it and shaping its direction.
Precisely, we need to be informed,
Yeah.
engaged, and
Yeah.
proactive in ensuring that AI serves humanity, not the other way around.
And that's why deep dives like this are so important.
I agree.
We need to understand the forces at play, the potential benefits and risks,
Right.
so that we can make informed decisions about the future we want to create.
Well said. So what are your thoughts on all of this so far? What's standing out to you as particularly significant or surprising?
Honestly, it's a lot to take in. It really is incredible how fast this field is moving and how much potential there is. But it also feels like we're standing at the edge of something really unknown.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's both exhilarating and a bit unsettling, right? We're on the cusp of a technological revolution, unlike anything we've seen before.
One of the articles you sent mentioned quantum computing
Oh, yeah.
and how that could just completely change the game for AI. It almost sounded like science fiction.
It does sound futuristic, but it's closer than you might think.
Yeah.
Quantum computers have the potential to solve problems that are just impossible
Right.
for even the most advanced supercomputers today.
Wow.
And when you combine that power with AI, well, the possibilities are mind-boggling.
So we could be talking about AI systems that can design life-saving drugs, develop new sources of energy.
Absolutely.
Maybe even crack some of the biggest mysteries of the universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But as AI becomes more sophisticated,
Right.
it raises some really profound questions, too.
Yeah.
Questions about what it means to be human in a world where machines can outperform us in so many areas.
That's something I've been wondering about. What happens to jobs' creativity?
Right.
Even our sense of purpose. If AI can do so many things better than we can.
Those are questions we need to start grappling with now.
Yeah.
And it's not just a conversation for tech companies or scientists. It's a conversation we need to have as a society.
Totally. We need to figure out how to harness this incredible power responsibly
For sure.
and make sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. And that means thinking about things like access equity and ethical development.
Right.
How do we ensure that everyone has the opportunity to benefit from AI?
Yeah.
How do we prevent it from being used to exacerbate existing inequalities or create new ones?
These are tough questions,
They are.
but they're questions we can't afford to ignore.
We can't. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one key takeaway you'd want to leave with our listeners?
I think the most important thing to remember is that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're all shaping together through the choices we make, the conversations we have, and the actions we take. It's a future filled with both immense potential and significant challenges. And it's up to all of us to make sure that AI is used to create a world that is more just equitable and beneficial for everyone.
Well said. That's a really powerful message.
It is.
It's a reminder that we're not just passive observers in this technological revolution. We're active participants with the power to shape its trajectory.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting.
It is exciting.
We have this incredible opportunity to use this technology to solve some of the world's most pressing problems
Yeah,
and create a future that we can all be proud of.
I agree.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. It's been an incredible journey, and we hope you've learned something new and maybe even feel a little inspired to join this important conversation.
It's been a pleasure. And remember, the future of AI is in our hands. Let's make it a good one.